Hey guys, Trader Trump's ghoul at the Department of Homeland Security. I mean, which ghoul, right? When you say Trader Trump's ghoul, there's so many to choose from. But the ghoul at the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, just got her ass handed to her by a federal judge, and it's glorious. So, just wanted to share it in case you missed it in the midst of the rest of the madness. Here's some good news. A federal judge just put a big hell no on Trader Trump and Kristi Noem's plot to turn 350,000 Haitian immigrants into illegals overnight. In an 83-page opinion, Judge Anna Reese blocked their move to end temporary protective status for Haitians, keeping their legal status intact while the courts dig through the steaming pile of hate that Noem tried to pass off as policy. As the judge says right here at the end of the order, Kristi Noem has a First Amendment right to call immigrants killers, leeches, entitlement junkies, more projection, of course, from the Maggotville, and any other inept name she wants. Secretary Noem, however, is constrained by both our Constitution and the APA, the Administrative Procedures Act, to apply faithfully the facts to the law in implementing the TPS program. Well, facts, truth. What is truth, right? Has such a liberal bias. It has such a bias towards the Constitution. Maggots can't have that. The judge basically says what we already know, that Noem didn't weigh the facts, she didn't follow the law, and she didn't give a damn about the actual conditions in Haiti. She, as the judge said, preordained the outcome. The judge wrote that Noem and the entire maladministration preordained the outcome because of their hostility to non-white immigrants. Not just her, the entire maladministration's. That's polite judge speak, I guess, for this isn't governance, it's racism, plain and simple. And they're disgusting. And I do mean simple, because you gotta be simple to be a racist. Racism and low IQ go hand in hand. I know Trump always likes to say he's got a very big brain and everyone else is so low IQ. Nothing more low IQ than being a friggin' racist. So, especially in a nation of immigrants, Republicans lack the personality traits, the decency, the maturity to function in a free democratic society, especially a multiracial liberal democracy, nation of immigrants. They hate that. So they're trying to dismantle it. And that's the whole maggot project in a nutshell. As the judge laid out, hostility to non-white immigrants. And it really is a distraction for the real agenda, which is to drag us back to the system the founders fought a revolution to overthrow, and that's the one where the rich run and rule everything, and everyone else toils in the field and awaits their rewards in heaven without pestering their betters for anything, a decent life or a seat at the table or a fair share of the profits that labor makes possible in the first place. That's really what it's all about. And being a racist is good for this agenda because it keeps the people divided and distracted. And shame on the maggots. You know, it always annoys me that these are people who see conspiracies in every basement of a pizzeria that doesn't have a basement, but they don't see the oldest conspiracy right in front of their faces, which is divide and conquer, especially along racial lines, while they make the rich richer. Trader Trump and Kristi Noem get on their social media, the Russian bot-infested social media platforms like Twitter, and spew filth about Haitians being killers and leeches. More projection, of course, from Republicans. They weren't just tinkering with the temporary protective status program. They were getting ready to simply flip a switch and turn hundreds of thousands of legally present workers, parents, nurses, caregivers, neighbors, into illegals, instant illegals, as they say. So their right-wing propaganda machine could have more fodder, and the ICE Gestapo could have more fresh meat to inflict their cruelty upon. The people that they're targeting, in this instance, Haitian immigrants, are doing everything that Republicans claim they want done right? They're not against immigration. They just don't like illegal immigration. Of course, that's always bullshit. It's all about divide and conquer. These Haitian immigrants work brutal jobs. They pay taxes. They raise families. They build churches. They create small businesses. They staff hospitals. They staff care facilities. In other words, they've contributed more to the United States than Trader Trump and Kristi Noem could ever fake in 1,000 lifetimes of dragging innocent creatures to the gravel pit. It's disgusting. The judge doesn't come right out and say what you and I are thinking, namely that Trader Trump and Kristi Noem are vile, racist scum, unfit to lick the boots, never mind the taints of the Haitians they smear. But in legalese, she does something more important, I guess. She calls out the hostility. She exposes this sham process, and she hits the brakes. Temporary protective status stays in place for now. Their white nationalist fever dream has to answer to the Constitution, not the maggot comment section on Elon Musk's Nazi and Russian bot-infested social media swill platform. I mean, imagine that. Maggots having to answer to the rule of law. This is what it looks like when the system, for once, remembers that it's supposed to protect people from the powerful, not the other way around. So we'll see what happens with this one, but in the meantime, we have a lot of work to do. But we will win, because we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin. Thanks. I'll see you soon.